I'm going to check the first. Up, Cole. We're just gonna be talking basketball. We're gonna be talking draft questions and things like that. Zay will be joining us after this meeting, and don't worry about that though. I do think I wouldn't go that far. I don't think he has a 43-inch vertical, but I do think Kate Cunningham is incredible. What's up, Mojo? It's good. What's good? So yeah. There's still 10 questions. Zay will be on. I texted him something about it, so he'll be on shortly. He has a meeting, he said, but I did tell him we'd be on around 9. It's a bit earlier than I thought, but just send some questions my way. Keep it entertaining, and let me know if you guys can hear me as well. I had something good. Breakfast I had it this pasta with sausage. This lunch I had a peanut butter and jelly, and for dinner I had some chicken wings and some potato gnocchis. So also it isn't just draft questions. We're gonna be doing NBA questions as well. Uh, I'm I might make this a full time series, but maybe do it like once a week if it catches on. If not, maybe from time to time. But we'll see. We'll see. Uh, Hello. Hey.
Working alone, so I'm gonna try to fix it.
Yeah. Can you guys hear Zay? By the way, I'm streaming already, so let me just. He
I
can't.
really hear you.
What? What did you say? I can hear you.
You can hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. I can hear you.
It should be working a lot better now for me to hear you. Yeah.
I can hear you. Right? I can hear you completely fine.
Fine too now.
Yeah. How well? I'm gonna have to check. How well can you guys hear Zay?
If at all.
If at all, I can hear you perfectly fine. Well, Mojo said he can. He said A, Zay, and there's bits, but no one else said anything else yet. Ben Simmons is an All NBA first team guard. He could be one day. Oh, and he said all defense. Yeah, definitely first team all defense. But All NBA first team, he could be. He very well could be. Yeah. Yeah, I think he could be.
Like a defender or something like that.
He could be one of the best. Easily all defensive guard. He's probably first team all defense this year as a guard. But All NBA first team, it could be. He does have the talent to be one. It's just, will he ever be one? Because I don't think he'll ever be like that big time scorer. Even if he puts up the all around great numbers, like look at where guys are going these days, and you really have to be like a guy that gives you like at least 25, like 5 and 5. Now you really can't have like, you can't be like Simmons, who's like it's like a 17, 7 and 7 guy. But he'll be first team all defensive guard every year he's healthy for a long time. I wouldn't be shocked if he's that at all. But yeah, send more questions as well. Also feel free to share this so more people will see this. Yeah. Mojo, send a question. Send a question.
YouTube?
Yeah. Right. I told him that.
The Rusty Buckets.
Yeah. He's probably busy.
It's not about mine. I think.
Let's see. Can you guys hear Jay? Like, I'm generally serious. Can you guys actually hear him? Because this is my first time ever doing this, so we'll see about that. And I'm gonna actually share it on Twitter again. All right. So he said, Boy said yeah. So it looks like we're good. Yeah, I think they can hear us.
You look old as shit. You look older than I thought you.
Yeah, somebody said I looked like I was 15. Someone, because my voice does sound weird. They're like, I thought you were 13 or 15.
Nah, it was just that one picture you posted on. It's like I thought you like.
Nah, you're
clearly my age.
Yeah. What is Mojo? What do you mean by go? Mojo, what do you mean by that? Like, yeah.
Cunningham is Jesus Christ with 43 wins for yes.
Yes, he is.
What did I eat today? Nothing. I'm about to order for me.
I am signing out. Yeah, I just sent out tweet about that. Boy, yeah. What does go mean? Did you? See? Oh no, that's not working. That's not working. Trey Levine, Windsor, John Collins, first team all way. First team all take your picks. Didn't Trey's girl though like leave him for CeeDee Lamb or something like that? Also, Trey's at stick. It's like there was a video going around about CeeDee Lamb when he got drafted, and like his girl took his phone, and CeeDee Lamb took it back obviously, and then somebody, Trey Young like I think he like, tweeted about it laughing, and somebody tweeted a picture of Trey with the same girl that CD was with. So,
just angry.
But what is Winslow doing? Not Trey. What is Winslow doing on this list? Like, not Trey Lefty. Not Trey Lefty. Yeah, you can think that. Yeah, Trey was like the. It was one of the biggest phenomenons to me when he was coming out. I really didn't pay attention to him a lot because, like, just the way Ball's Life was promoting him coming out of high school, like, yeah, I just didn't want to like deal with it for some weird reason. But yeah, it was like why are we? It's just like, you know, like it was around the time like they were really pushing. Ball's Life was like pushing this as a Winslow underrated looks wise, because of him, I'd never take my girl to a Grizzly game. You wouldn't take your girl to a Grizzly game anyway, Mojo, if you even have girl. Justice.
I don't know if it's because of him, but like he's clearly really one of the reasons why you wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Why would you go to a Grizzlies game? The only reason you're going to a Grizzly game is you're with your Rudy. But if you're going with Rudy, but I don't. Other than that, why would you go in there? Actually, low-key though, now I feel like the team though, like if they're going through Boston, I would try to get tickets for them. It's to see like John June play, but
yeah. I really like their whole team.
Yeah.
I like their team as a whole. I like Kyle Anderson. I like I don't really like Dylan Brooks that much. I know people like him with me, but I like Justice, Aaron, clearly Ja. Well, not clearly, but I like Anthony Melton. I think JV is a little bit underrated. Do I like him? No, but I think he's a little bit underrated. Rudy was saying like he's last game. I'm like, bro, he's not that bad. He's a pretty decent center. The team, like, people are giving Ja a little bit too much credit.
Yeah. Oh no, I think they are too. Like, he's great and all, but like, we also can't act like he's the only reason this team is as successful as it is. They added a lot of pieces, and a lot of players that have a full year together. There's just a lot of factors that go into it that aren't Ja. He's a big part of why they're successful, but at the same time, he's also like there's other reasons why Memphis is as successful as it is.
Teams you'd never want to see play in person. I would not want to see the Hornets.
Spurs. I wouldn't want to see the Spurs in person, especially now. I don't want to see DeMar and LaMarcus. Hornets are up there.
Magic probably, even though that's my team. I don't really want to watch.
I saw them play live once. I saw the Magic play live. No, but it was actually a really good game. Aaron Gordon threw down this monster dunk on Marcus Smart. And it was crazy. So I think teams that want to see play. There are a lot of teams that wouldn't. I think the Spurs are the big one just because of they're a very boring team to watch right now.
I would watch the Hornets.
I like PJ Washington. they're I would say Chicago, but it looks like they're going to fire Jim Boylan. So if they get a good head coach, that should be a fun team to watch.
I watch Chicago.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, Cavs. Cavs would be out there right now. It depends on what they do with the draft for me. This year alone, like if they get Anthony Edwards, I'll watch him because Anthony Edwards is my guy. But if like anything else, like unless they get like what the draft's in second right now, as of right now. But
like why would they pick Anthony Edwards if they more or less a guy that's more or less the same thing?
Yeah. I would.
PJ and they're like
similar, well, the thing
is, similar players.
I don't know why they took Darius Garland in 2018. That pick did not make sense to me at all. I
don't think they were really.
I thought they were going to take Culver. I thought they were going to, and this was just my personal preference on him. Like I thought they would go, with I had him taking best player available or like player with like the most upside. Like this like who has the most like the biggest chance to like give him an identity, and I had him going with Cam Reddish at the time, just because like I wanted to see what he would be able to do with the ball in his hands more. But I
don't think that would have been the move because he struggled so at Duke. I don't think just giving him the ball like straight up would have been cool for him in his career. I feel like what he needed was exactly Atlanta. Yeah, he could just play. He didn't have very much expectations. He could play off of Trey. He can make wide open jumpers. He can
play defense somewhat.
Basically. Yeah. He wasn't being forced. He wasn't being shoved into this role where he just wasn't ready for it yet.
I think a lot of my thing is like in my hope for Cam is like what I saw of him in high school and what I've heard like other players say about him. Because like I've heard like seen a few interviews with like top level guys. Yeah. Well, no, like they're like he was like the hardest player they ever had to guard. Like I saw the video of Anthony Edwards, like in the moment. I think it was Trent Waterford who said, like, yeah, he dropped 40 us, and Anthony Edwards just looked at him like only 40. You know, I think that has a lot to do with my opinions on him as well. But I do think he has the talent to, you know, be something. I don't think he'll ever be like big time, like all NBA, but I do think that he could be a fringe all-star level player at some point in his career. But
I'm higher on Cam because I feel like you have to have a decent balance between your pre-college sample and your
UIBL, college, all those stuff. Yeah.
With Cam, what I hear from a lot of people, like a lot of the Stephen guys, I talked to Lucas Furlow, but they say Cam was good, but he wasn't what everyone was making him out to be.
I thought it was top 3 in that in coming out of high school. I thought it was top 3, clearly behind RJ and Zion. RJ and Zion were clearly 1-2 for me. Looking back, you would obviously rank Zion ahead of RJ, but at the time it made sense as to why. But no one motivated me to make a video on Cade. What, after I made 3 videos on him? After I made 3, but with Zion, like. I remember watching those high school games and watching those tapes. Like, he was going up against nothing in high school. Like, there was like probably one other player that could dunk a basketball in the division he was playing in high school, and he happened to be on his team.
Is that his name?
What?
Something like that.
No.
His name, Chandler Lindsay.
Yeah. Like, there was like one other dude in that entire league that could dunk. And he happened to be on his team. But, like, he also was really good in the Adidas circuit. So, like, that kind of, like, they said, okay, who has more potential, OJ or Cam? That's actually an interesting one. Because
I feel like
I think OJ has more potential to be a star, but Cam has more potential to stay in the league for a longer time. Just because Cam's that much better.
Personally would rather a Cam Reddish type of player than because Cam can fit it. That makes any sense. He can shoot.
Oh yeah.
He can handle the ball. He can pass, play defense or whatever. And anything past that, you're happy with whatever you get. With RJ, it's just kind of you're gonna live and die by RJ.
Yeah. I think
really have very hurts my dog. So.
it's really hard with OJ though, just because the idea of him coming out was like, I don't know, it was weird to describe because I remember some people saying he could play point guard like coming out of high school. I didn't think that at all. I thought he was a natural shooting guard who really can shoot a basketball, but wasn't afraid to shoot, but couldn't as well. But I think that RJ has more potential to be, if we're talking about ceiling, RJ has more potential. But we're talking about who has more potential to stay in the league longer. I would say Cam, at that, if we're being honest.
Say more potential to stay in the league. I think it would, because both of them are going to be in the league for a while.
Yeah, but I think like Cam will stay.
Levels.
Cam's gonna have like a second part of his career, which is spot up, dribble kind of guy. Where it's just like I'm not spot up dribble. I was just reading the comment, but he's sort of like has more potential to be a guy that this lasts longer because of his shooting and the defense and all that. With OJ, I think he's going to be in the league for a long time, but I also think that like it's going to be his career is just going to fall off a cliff a lot quicker. Whereas Cam, it's going to like slowly go down with him.
My reasoning was more so along the lines of I believe RJ is going to get you to a specific point. It's going to be a good floor raiser, I should say. It reminds me, I feel like he's going to have I'm not making this direct comparison. I feel like he can make a DeMar DeRozan level impact.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get you to where he gets you. He's going to get you to the playoffs. He's going to be getting the score and all that other stuff.
What's up, Sam?
Like, he really fits well on these higher level teams. Doesn't scale well to higher level basketball.
Yeah.
He can fit in. You don't want RJ being your best player.
No, you don't.
You don't want him to be your best player.
I think his ceiling is.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sub Sam. But I think OJ's ceiling though as a player is. I think exactly what you said, like a DeMar, not exactly skill set wise. I don't think they're similar that way. DeMar just seems lackadaisical sometimes. OJ does not seem lackadaisical to me. He does, especially on offense. He tries to be engaged as much as he can. But with RJ, I think that DeMar DeRozan kind of player is what he's going to be. He'll make a few All-Star teams. There might be a season where he averages 27 points per game. But at the same time, he's not going to get you further than maybe the conference finals in the fluke year if you go through the right teams. That's the best case scenario for him.
I don't even, it's not too high on him as a player that's going to lead you to much success. And I feel like he's going to be able to lead you to a respectable record, and your offense is going to be very
inefficient.
He'll
be a great regular season guy. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Whose draft stock has fallen and has risen? For me, whose risen is Killian Hayes. I had him outside my top 10 to start the year. He's number 5 now. I think the biggest follower for me is OJ Hampton, who I had at 8 to start the year, and he's outside. I think he's I want to say 15 for me now. But I like OJ. I like OJ Hampton. I ever since I watched that video about his relationship with his high school coach, I just kind of have a lot of respect for him because of that. Because he easily could have gone, because he was going to go to Montverde, and I think that he just valued his relationship with his coach that much. They decided to stay, which I can respect a lot.
For me, the risers and fallers. For fallers, I'd have to say, I really didn't change all that.
Yeah,
much.
There really wasn't enough.
I'd say recently I moved Meladon up a decent bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's now in my lottery, and he was in the 20 somewhere at first. Moved Meladon up a lot. RJ slid crazy. Nico Megan did a lot for me too. For a while, preseason and early on in the season, I had him around 15 lottery, and now he's the 20s to the 30s. He slid a lot for me. Rose. Oh, Anton Watson fell a lot for me too.
Mm.
He's not even. Me at first, he was top 20, but Anton, he had injuries at Gonzaga and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
He ended up flipping to he's in like my 50s or 60s or something like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I have him high this year.
There wasn't a lot of movement for me besides like OJ really, because I had Maxi high to start the year. Guys that people didn't expect me to have high. Like I had Cole. No March Madness is gonna hurt a lot of these guys' chances of making it to the league. I think it can. I think it can through like seniors, but like we understood. I think by the midpoint of this year, we kind of knew where guys were gonna go. I don't value the tournament as much. It can raise someone's stock, but it can't hurt someone's stock. Like you weren't gonna just say Lonzo wasn't gonna go top 2 just because he got completely worked by De'Aaron Fox in the Sweet 16. It's just why it's like I don't understand why some people are like, oh, Cade not going to the tournament is gonna hurt his odds in the lottery. I'm like, no, if he plays well in the regular season, he'll be the first overall pick. Like it doesn't matter that much if his team makes a tournament or not. Like literally, Markelle Fultz won 9 games in college, and he won first overall. It doesn't matter too much. But I do think I think someone who really could have helped the stock in March Madness was Obi Toppin.
Right.
Who I'm not personally that high on at all. One player y'all want to trade from your favorite teams, and it's Cantu. I want him off my team so bad. Get Kuz off my team. And it's Cantu. He pisses me off. From the TikToks to his on-court play, it all just pisses me off with him. I think my hope is that Robert Williams develops into the guy who can take over for that spot. Why I never stand Enes Cantu. Are you kidding me? I hated that guy. I was so mad when we signed him. Are you kidding me? Because the only thing I thought he was gonna do, was just take away minutes from Robert Williams, and I want to see Robert Williams develop. Because I think Robert Williams can be the center of the future. But get Kuz. Yeah, Kuz is garbage. Is Kuz thinking about the Sixers right now? That might be something you want to answer. Still on?
I'm talking to someone on the phone. Kira Lewis thing.
So, bro, I'm telling you right now, the Lakers give Kuz more than $9 million this offseason. I'm visiting in America. You better not because we're in the middle of a pandemic. But the whole front office getting yeah, I would be pretty mad if I paid Kuz more than $9 million as well. He's just not that good. Kira Lewis. I like Kira Lewis a lot. I think he's one of the better point guards in this draft. Or guards, I should say. I think he could fit in the Sixers. The Sixers could use a guard in general. Someone can kind of play off Simmons, but right now I think a good player for the Sixers, and he's not going to go to the Sixers because I have him going a lot higher than when the Sixers are going to pick, is Cole Anthony. I think they need a scoring guard on that team, but there's no way he falls that far. He's one of the 6 best players in this draft. I have him going top 10.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
To the Kira Lewis thinking about being a Sixer. No, he got a top 14 promise. He's probably not thinking about the Sixers.
Yeah, I was saying that and there's no way he's gonna go the fall. There's no way Cole Anthony falls this way, but I think he would be a good fit in the Sixers as just a guy that they say score and pass a little bit.
Perfect fit.
Yeah, but there's no way he's getting to where the Sixers are gonna pick at this point in the draft. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the Kuz thing, but he if Kuz gets more than $9 million, I'm gonna laugh because the team probably will, and it's gonna be a desperate team. They'll give him more than $9 million. I still think he's that good. He's a guy. I don't think he's horrible. In the context of what I think he is. stay up. All right, boys, I'm Australian. Stay up. Bye, Mojo. But with Kuz, like I think that if he's just a guy that just comes off the bench for like 15 or 20 minutes and just scores, I think he's fine. But the way people are touting him or were touting him, isn't as good as people think. I knew from his rookie season he was going to be the way everyone thought he would be. I don't know about that. He was okay. He was actually really good as rookie year. But I wasn't falling for that he's better than some of the guys like Jason Tatum were going to be. But I thought he was going to be better than he's been after his rookie year. It's just going to be. I said he was going to be the Tyreke Evans of his draft class. Tyreke Evans is still a solid NBA player. Yeah. Tyreke Evans was giving you like 15, 5, and 5 for the majority of his career. He's got fucked up by the Sixers. Not the Sixers, the Kings. I think they fucked up his development.
Kuz was never that good.
Kuz was in a perfect situation though, because like his rookie year, Lonzo was dealing with injuries, and then Ingram was dealing with injuries as well. And then the second year, Ingram had the blood clot issues, and he was dealing with injuries. Lonzo was dealing with injuries, and LeBron was dealing with injuries, so he really didn't have anyone to get in his way for scoring wise. And we've seen what he is with two guys who like LeBron and AD. Where I think we're kind of starting to see his true value as a player. But I do think that for the value they got him at with that 27th pick, I think he's a great value. But I just think to talk that he was better than Jaren Jackson. We should have listened to Zoe. Kuz ain't nothing without him. He said that in a diss track about him. But if you're gonna do it all over again, you keep Ingram and you don't give it, and you get rid of Kuzma in an AD trade. I don't know if they would have been able to because of the money reasons, but
I don't think the Pelicans would have took that
if they got Kuz. Yeah, I mean, Mojo and I were talking about this in our redraft when we had Mitchell going second. We're talking about, does the AD trade even happen? Because Mitchell has a much better rookie season than Lonzo does, and I think a guy like Mitchell would be perfect next to LeBron. It's a guy that just scores a lot. Like, he would be the perfect guard to put next to him. So I don't think they would want to trade him. So what would that package, if you're trying to get AD, look like? Al Horford would dominate as a backup. He would.
You would have to probably want to.
You would still give up Ingram. You had to give Ingram and Hart, obviously. You probably have to throw Kuzma into that deal. And probably Zubac. Because you don't want to get rid of Mitchell. Yeah, so that the AD trade probably doesn't happen. He probably ends up somewhere else. He would have ended up on the Lakers. I really like New Orleans for BI. I'm excited to see what he does there. The fit's iffy. I thought the fit was going to be iffy with him and Zion, but the fact that Zion isn't this ball dominant player really helps Ingram out a lot. The fact that Zion is as dominant as he is, and a majority of his shots are assisted on, really helps keep Ingram around and help. I think that could be something special. Al Horford would dominate as a backup. I wouldn't say dominate, but I do think he'd be very good. But and to send draft questions, you also send some high school questions as well. I saw Jamal Crawford is back in the league. But that's why I don't think Bayfield AD, he would need to control a bit more. I see that actually. Yeah, I do. But I think he would just be a better talent to have than having Kuzma. Like, he does. Yes, Jamal Crawford does stink. He does. Trust me. I know. I've been vouching this for a while. He was one of the worst players on one of the worst teams in the league. I know. Trust me. Yeah, I saw the clip of I think it was, and I think it was a clip about like I think it was like Joe Harris asking to pass the ball, and it's a Jamal Crawford, and the clip was of Julian Newman's mixtape. But yeah, that was funny. I don't think it matters that much about Jamal Crawford because he's on the Nets, and if anything, Brandon Boston top three. He could be. He's not top three for me personally. I have it's Cade, Jalen Green. No, wait. It's Cade Cunningham, Jonathan Kuminga, Jalen Green. That's my top three. Brandon Boston's number 4, and I think he's close with Jalen Green for number 3. I don't think he's better than Cade, obviously, but I do think he's a solid player. But he has to add weight. Boston has to add weight, obviously.
A lot of guys for 2020.
Yeah. He's the 2021's low. There are guys that are like in that 6 to 10 range in 2021. Y'all think this select team's gonna work out? I think it can. There's 2 guys that are probably gonna go first round in Green, and you think Jay thinks Knicks is gonna go first round. I haven't watched a lot of Knicks because wasn't really on the AAU, the UIBL circuit. And it's kind of hard to find his game because he played in Alaska. But can't believe Newman thought he was making rankings, spamming double crossover. You know, it was a fun little story at first about this kid who was playing on varsity. But over time we've seen that, this kids got up to him. And it's just never worked out. I don't think it has a lot to do with the size. Especially, I think it's a lot to do with his athleticism, not his size. Because we've seen guys who are sub 6 feet, like Zion Herman and Deshaun Ruffin, who have remained among the better players in their class and are going to go D1. So, I think it's a lot to do with athleticism, decision making, and skill set than it does have to do with his size. But with the select team, to go back to that, really living in Melo's shadow. I don't think that comparison should have ever been made. LaMelo's been more than justifiably covered, and his talent suggests someone that should be covered the way he is. Julian Newman is not someone whose talent suggests he should be covered that way. But to go back to the select team, there's only 2 guys that really look like first rounders, and that's Jalen Green, and again, Zay thinks that Deshaun Nix will be that guy. But other than that, I still see it. Isaiah Todd doesn't seem like a guy. Isaiah Todd was always a guy that I thought was going to stay for at least a few years. I know nothing about Kai Soto at all. And we don't know what's going on. If they get Kuminga, that's going to be crazy. That's all I'm going to say. I can hear you, but human. Yeah, I don't. It's so funny to me because like he's a bit overrated. I don't think he's a bit. He could be, yeah. For guys who think he's the first, I don't think he's a first round talent. That's right now. I remember when he the first time he was ever ranked his sophomore year, he was ranked first, and then guys just overtook him. For that number 1 spot, obviously. I think he's talented, but I do think that he would have benefited from staying in college a few years. But who's your must-watch guy coming to college 21 season that most people aren't talking about? Dalen Terry, easily. He's guard forward. He's going to go play at Arizona, 6'7", good passer. I think he's going to be really good. I think he's being slept on. Dalen Terry is definitely up there. Andre Curbelo, he's going to go be playing at Illinois. Adam Miller, he's another guy. Watch Illinois this year. They could be entertaining with Andre Curbelo and Adam Miller. That should be fun. My personal sleeper, and it's maybe not because other guys are. He's going to a big school, obviously, and he's a 5-star recruit. But only people are talking about him as an NBA prospect the way they should, and that's Caleb Love. I think he's the second or third best point guard in this class. And I've seen mock drafts have him going in the mid-20s. You don't trust guys with the name Adam? Why? Sam, why don't you trust guys with the name Adam? I just want to know. Why don't you? But the 2021 draft is going to be loaded. It's going to be I think it's going to be one of the better draft classes in recent memory. There's just so many talented guys who are going to go. I think that the 10th guy has like all-star potential in this draft in the 2021 class. And it's just going to be really fun to see that draft. I've been covering it a lot already, a lot more than I would. I've been covering the 2020 class, and it's just, again, there are guys in that 6 to 10 range that would be top 3 picks, in my opinion, if they were in this class, or at least top 5. But Sam, are you going to answer my question as to why you don't trust people with that? Adam Morrison sat on a bench and still won a ring. Yeah, there are plenty of guys that do that. Don't disrespect Adam Miller like that. He's nice. You're going to trust a guy who finessed his way to a ring, who finessed his way into top 3 draft money and a ring? You're not going to trust that guy? Really? I would trust a guy like that. Anything else? Scrolling through. RG triples to 8 guys. Devon Dotson underrated. I think to the general public he's underrated a bit. I think he's probably rated where I have him, which is a late first round, early second round guy. I'm wrong. Am I wrong for thinking Scotty Barnes has Draymond? No, you're not. I actually think he has that kind of potential as well. I think he's yeah, Scotty Barnes definitely does have Draymond potential. I do see that as well. I think he's going to be really good at Florida State. He won 2 rings. Yeah, Patrick McCaw has 3 rings. So, I don't see the problem. You're not going to trust people named Patrick because Patrick McCaw sat on the bench for 3 straight rings on 2 different teams. I don't see the problem. You're not going to trust people named Patrick, or you're going to trust Patrick Mahomes? You're not going to trust a guy like Patrick Mahomes, who's like one of the best athletes in the league right now in his sport. Like, I trust Patrick McCaw. I would trust Patrick McCaw any day of the week. I would trust a guy who finesses way to 3 rings all day. Yeah, but similar questions: high school, college, anything, NBA. Oh, well, Patrick Mahomes is how do I describe Patrick Mahomes in NBA teams? Sorry, too. He's the equivalent of like if Michael Jordan won a ring in his second year. That's the equivalent of him. Caleb Murphy underrated. If he gets a better jump shot, he can get drafted next year. I saw a B-ball breakdown, hoops perspective video that I really liked about him. It was relatively good. I haven't watched a lot of Caleb Murphy, I'll be honest with you, but I do like the things that hoops perspective had to say about him. Yeah, but Sam, similar questions as well about who you want me to talk about. Boy do the same. But we'll see about Caleb Murphy though. Your favorite team going into win March Madness next year. It's hard to say because like you can't just look at the most talented team and say they're going to win. Because if that was the case, teams like Duke and Kentucky would win it every year. If I had to say, as far as guys returning and just that mix of talent, Jalen Suggs is a top 10 guy. I would say the favorite to win it right now probably is Kentucky because they had the best class. They have some guys returning. Jalen Suggs is a top 10 guy. He's number 11 for me personally. He's pretty close. He's on borderline top 10. He's a borderline top 10 guy for me. I think he's going to be really good. He'd easily be top 10 if he was in this year's class. I like him a lot. He really defines what a modern day point guard is. So that should be something to think about. But favorite, I would think. Do you think your usual is Kentucky, Duke, Michigan State? Do you think about schools like that? Villanova is another team as well to think about. How do you feel about Trey Jones? He's all right. That's the best way I can put it. Solid point guard. Well, I think he's gonna be a rotational point guard in the NBA, personally speaking. But there's nothing special. It's gonna be funny because this is gonna be the first year where a Duke player won't go in the lottery. They'll bounce back with Jalen Johnson next year, obviously. Going over to yeah, there is a consistent program. And I think once you get a full year, Brian Antoine, who I think is a really good player, Emoni Cade, that's tough. That is tough. Actually, probably Cade, easily Cade. Because I don't even know if Emoni's better than Paulo Banchero, personally speaking. But Cade is one of the best prospects I've seen. The only prospect I think is better than Cade. You think it'll be better than Tyus? I don't know necessarily. Tyus has been a really solid point guard in the NBA. It's hard for me to say with Trey. Well, but I to go back to the Cade thing. Cade is the only prospect I think is better than Cade over like the last 5 to 10 years is Luka. I think I've said many times that Emoni is worth the hype that he's getting because I do think he's that kind of talent. But I do think that guys like Cade's on his level. A high Antoine, I think, will be good for us. I think he would be as well. I do think he would be as well. Him and Scott Eagles were really fun to watch in high school. So that was a fun duo to watch as well. Jordan or LeBron? That's an interesting debate. I think they're 1A, 1B. I don't lean to one side or the other. If we're looking at overall career, I think you lean towards Jordan. Look at who's a better talent. I think you lean towards LeBron as a better all-around player. I know there's a blemish on LeBron's career with that 2011 finals, but he did so much after that 2011 finals to redeem himself. And there's just no way I can definitively say one way or the other. Like Michael's better or LeBron's better. I just think that they're 1A, 1B. One day I'll say Michael's better, or one day I'll say LeBron is better. That's just how it is. 8 people. Wow. Yeah, but keep on sending questions, guys. DJ Wagner's really good. I personally I agree with him being higher than Mikey. He's a guy that DJ Wagner, he held his own at Hoop Hall Classic, which is not an easy event for a freshman. to handle, and I think he handled it really well, especially going up against a team like Rancho Kristen, who has Dominique Harris, who's going to Gonzaga, and has Evan Mobley, who's one of the best players in the country. I think he handles himself fine. I don't understand why Mikey's attacking him, especially considering that Mikey's ranked 3rd and he's not ranked outside of the top 5. I do agree with the idea though that Mikey. What are your thoughts on Kyrie Walker? Dude is older than Sekou Doumbouya and the same age as Zion. I actually have mixed feelings about that because on one hand, Kyrie Walker is older, but there are things that went on in his personal life. Had to deal with things that I wouldn't want anyone to deal with as family members. That you struggle with mentally, and I understand what he's going through. It's not easy, especially when you're that young. And I don't judge players based off how old they are in high school. It's just something, we don't know why they're being held back, and we have to respect that decision to hold back. What they do, that's all I really got to say about that. What do you want to see the Celtics do this offseason to solidify themselves as series contenders? Further development of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, further development of Robert Williams, an increased role for Romeo Langford, things like that. Just improving overall. There isn't I'm happy we are in a situation where we feel like we're forced to trade for a star because we have a good team. I think as Tatum gets better, our chances of being contenders are increased. But I'm still holding on to my Kyrie Walker stock. I think he's talented enough to play Division One. I think, listen, he was ranked top 5 for a reason. Even if I think ESPN's rankings are fishy, they aren't that fishy. And I do think that he was ranked at top 5, top 4 in his class at one point. What do you think that this exact team can win if develop younger guys, or do we need to make some signings? I think we're good enough to compete right now. I don't think we have to make a bunch of signings to win. I think if we develop Romeo Langford into a two-way guy, if we develop Robert Williams into being this rim running threat, I think we'll be fine. There's not much. It isn't like past years where we feel like we need to trade for Paul George or Jimmy Butler or Anthony Davis. Was Zaire Smith a mistake? Yeah, it's looking like it is. He's barely played in the NBA, and Mikal Bridges is a lot better. How good is AJ Griffin? AJ Griffin is either the first or second best player in his high school class. And I think he's one of the 3 best players in high school basketball. I know I put AJ Griffin ahead of Paulo Banchero in my ranking video, but the more I watched Paulo, the more I do think that AJ isn't as good as Paulo, but he's still the second best player easily. For me, has NBA background, has great athletic genes. Just it's a smooth scoring prospect. I really like him. I think he's going to do big things at Duke next year. He's going to fall in the line of guys like Ingram and guys like Tatum. I think he's going to be really good. I just don't understand why he's ranked so low by ESPN. I don't understand why they have him at 9. We keep on sending questions. Zay's busy right now. Um, he's actually one of my favorite players. He's like someone I'm pulling to see find success in the NBA. This is talking about Jalen Hands, obviously. Um, I think he has a chance to make it as a role player. Nothing more than that. It's very clear that the ball is life. Next Russell Westbrook talk was a bit outlandish. Honestly, Zaire should model his career after Avery Bradley. I think somewhat not completely there because Avery Bradley at his best was like probably the best defensive guard in the league. So I think that's tougher to say should he be ranked that highly. But I think it's not over for him, but it's not looking good. He's only played like 16 games in his career. Of Jalen Hands since his sophomore year. I think he seems like Jamal Crawford in his prime type player. And you mean an inefficient scorer? Maybe. But I don't know about that much. I think he'll be solid. I just don't. I think it's a chance to be solid, but also wouldn't shock me if he never makes it to the league at all. Um, I was actually really happy when he got drafted, though. I'm not gonna sit here and act like he wasn't. He also doesn't get injured. He also gets injured way too much. Who gets injured way too much? Huge opportunity. Yeah, probably, but it's probably going to be from a team like Detroit, that team that's just horrible. He's going to get a chance there. I wouldn't be shocked if he's like Antonio Blakeney or who's that guy? Oh my God, it's going to bother me. He was on the Bulls for a little bit. Oh, Zaire. Yeah, Zaire does get injured a lot. Who's that guy? There's like Antonio Blakeney. It was, oh my God, it's going to be. It was Son something. And he played for the Bulls for a little bit. I was like 17 points per game, like a few years of this depth. I think he could have that kind of group. Walt Lemon. No idea. No, it wasn't him. But continue sending those questions, guys. I don't know if it's anyone, by the way. Yeah, what about him? What about Walt Lemon? Who do I have coming out of the conferences? I have the Lakers coming out of the West and the Bucks coming out of the East. So the top two seeds. I think there's just it's a lot more debatable in the West. Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry about that. But to get back to who I believe is coming out, I think it's more debatable in the West. I think that the Clippers could give the Lakers an easily big run for their money. I think that there's actually a chance that the Clippers win. No, I don't think they're beating the Bucks. Giannis is too pissed off for me to believe that they're beating the Bucks this year. Giannis, ever since he lost in the conference in the conference finals last year, he's been pissed off because he knew he would win that ring if they got to the finals. But I do think I think the Lakers would lose that series. Bucks just have more depth than they do. Like, and when you look at their rosters, you look at the best three players. You look at Giannis and LeBron. We can debate all day about who's better between those two. Anthony Davis is clearly the third best player in that series. Chris Middleton's clearly the fourth best player in that series. And I think that needs to go down the list. And then the next best player is probably Eric Bledsoe. And it's probably Brook Lopez. It's like, because the Lakers just don't have depth, and that's the problem with them. That's why I think they could lose to the Clippers, who have great depth. Yeah, Avery Bradley not being on that team could hurt their chances. It really could. Danny better than Bledsoe. I think it's a pure player. You can argue that, but no, I don't. I guess you could say that in a vacuum. Like Danny plays a more defined role, but I wouldn't say he's better than Bledsoe. Like Danny's a good 3-and-D guy, and he plays his role better than Bledsoe plays his role. But if we're talking about his talents, they aren't. Yeah, it's complete BS that Perkins, Stephen A. Smith are, you know, basically like going off on Joel Embiid. They're having legit concerns about what his concerns about the thing. I can't say it, obviously, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm not. I've been on record saying I'm not a big fan of Stephen A. Smith. I don't like the way he talks about mental health. I find him very tone deaf. I find the fact that the only reason people watch him is because he screams a lot. I just don't like him that much. And Pope should not be on TV at all. He's really done nothing to prove he's worth being on TV. So yeah, Zay said he'll be back in a few, guys. So don't worry about that as well. Yeah. So the Lakers need to find a solid third option to rotate between Cruz, Danny, and Avery. Yeah, they do. Because it's really, after LeBron and AD, there really isn't anything that's special as like creators. Like there's no creator outside of LeBron. Really, even actually just LeBron on that team. Whereas with the Bucks, they have three legit creators. They do. In Bledsoe, Giannis, and Milton. Yeah, but I don't mean to be selfish or anything, but if you guys would share this, um, that would be nice to share this because again, with people in here. But keep on dropping questions. I'm actually gonna look up that guy that played. Yeah, thanks Sam for sharing that. I saw that come up on Twitter. Oh, YouTube. I'm looking up that name. Song. They just need to have a major talk before going to series games about who they're running the offense. So it's LeBron. It's Jesus. Sharif Cooper and Jeremy Roach on the same tier. Yeah, they are. They are on the same tier. Sharif does get a lot of hype because of the flashiness of his game, and he is that way. But Jeremy Roach is very much on that same tier as well. I do think they are on the same tier. The player I was thinking about was Sean Kilpatrick. That was who I was thinking of. That's the kind of that's yes that was the name that was escaping me. I will say though about the Sharif and Jeremy Roach thing. I do think Sharif is better, and I thought every game they start to force the ball down 80 and swap up midway through. I guess, I mean, you do have to keep AD involved. AD is one of the 5 to 10 best players in the league. Not just going to leave him out of your offense. But I do think Sharif Cooper does. If he has a really good year at Auburn, he'll go first round. I think Jeremy Roach is going to stay for a few years though at Duke. And if he does develop well, which I think he can at Duke, I think we could be talking about him as a lottery pick coming out after his junior year. But keep on sending those questions, you guys. What do you think about Melo? How do you think his career is gonna? We're talking about LaMelo, right? I'm gonna assume so. It's interesting. I answer you, Jake, of course. LaMelo Ball for me is the only player in that draft with superstar potential. I think he's gonna have a similar start to his career that his brother had, but I think his scoring numbers are gonna be a bit better. And he's not gonna be as good a defender, obviously. But I do think he's gonna have a similar start to his brother. It's a bit more trigger happy. Jacob is a mixtape guy, in my opinion. When watching him play, he isn't really worth the amount of hype. I think he is. I think he's maybe not like because I don't think the reason he's highlighted is because of his skill set. I think it's because of his personality more than anything. But he is definitely one of the 10 to 15 best players in that recruiting class. I think that he's talented enough, and I think he's a bit misunderstood. Like, yeah, you and I may see the flashiness and the flexing and all these things, but every adult I've seen talk about him has talked about him like this. Like he's very mature, and he does seem like a player. And I think it was Brie Lewerke who does. I think she does like interviews and she does photography. She said that he would stay after like these AAU games and would just like stay and sign all these autographs for these kids because he loves that part of it as well. And I think again, that has a lot to do with his personality. He was an honor roll student. He's a very smart kid. I think he's gonna be fine. I think he'll stay for if New Orleans was to get the Ball brothers, that's a scary look. Guy to try and get Zoe them runs and try to go LaMelo. They won't get him. I doubt that they'll even be close to in position to get him. Just either they'll make the playoffs or they'll be like a lottery team. I actually have them getting OJ Hampton right now. And I do think that if you get OJ Hampton, OJ Hampton, mentor him under Drew Holiday, that works. That 100% works for me. But I doubt they're going to LaMelo Ball. I also don't like that fit because, you have Ingram and you got Alonzo and then you have, what's his name? Zion. It's just not a good fit, personally. I don't think they're going to mess up the draft this year because really once you get to the whether either they'll pick. I think they'll either pick Edwards or Okongwu based off where they're picking. I think they'll lean towards Edwards because Andre Drummond picked up his option. I don't think they're gonna mess up this draft. And the thing is, like, I think talent-wise, I don't think they really messed up the draft in 2018 either because Darius Garland's a really talented player. I know he didn't have a great rookie year, but he's shown promise in this league. They're taking Cole, bro. They're stupid. No, they won't take Cole. They took 3 point guards. They took 2 point guards already. I think they're taking Edwards. If they get the second pick and Edwards is still on the board, they'll take him because he's, in my opinion, the best player in this draft. But I do think one of the guards will have to come off the bench because I do think Kevin Porter Jr. should be starting. And I think if you have Sexton come off the bench, who I believe is really fit to be a 6-man, you have a starting lineup of Garland, Edwards, and Kevin Porter Jr. That could be nice. I think that could work. And have Colin Sexton be the 6-man on that team. That works out fine. The Cavs haven't made bad draft picks in the post-LeBron era. I think Colin Sexton was a solid pick. I know Zay thinks that he's a fraud. Do you think the Warriors should trade their pick? I'll answer in a second. But the thing that Sexton is, I know Zay thinks he's a fraud. I think he's going to be a good scorer for a little while. And I think Garland has promise. But again, LaMelo Ball is a good rebounder. But do you think the Warriors should trade to draft to trade the pick? If they get the first pick, I think this is keep it and draft Nico Okongwu or Anthony Edwards or LaMelo Ball. Any of my top 3 guys. Because Okongwu gives you the element of win now, and LaMelo and Edwards can be groomed for the future and can somewhat contribute for you right now. If they don't, I could see them trying to package that pick with a Wiggins contract to land something. It's hard to say what they're going to do with that pick. It's a weird situation because we've never really seen a team like this get the first pick where they're clearly, when healthy, a playoff team, but they just happen to get the first pick because Steph got injured, Clay wasn't going to play this year. They lost Kevin Durant. And, of course, we don't know what's going on with Draymond Green. It's all looking good for him right now. Just the way he's been acting. He's been basically your typical clutch client. And, that tweet he liked about Aisha Curry isn't helping him at all. Yeah. But keep on sending questions, guys. Yeah, LaMelo Ball is a good rebounder. Like his brother, I was allowed to do with the size. He mentioned in an interview with Slam where he's like, one of the things he improved on was the fact that he got taller so he can rebound now. But LaMelo Ball has come a long way as a prospect. Like, dude, times. Because I think this is a big, so they can have a future, but also fill in their needs. Yeah, so they should take Okongwu, who is, in my opinion, is the best big man in this draft. We'll talk about Wiseman later, probably once Zay comes back. But I see Lamar Odom and Denny high hopes for him. I don't know necessarily about that. I kind of see where you're coming from. It's a guy who can be an all-around player. Do I ever see Denny being, a guy that you can run a point guard? No. I don't know why I said that because Lamar really wasn't the guy you were going to run a point guard either. I like Lamar Odom a lot. I don't see Denny in him, though. I think Denny's just going to be a guy that just doesn't have a defined skill set. He's just solid at everything. Whereas Lamar, there was a legit skill set where, yeah, he can be a legit point forward. Yes, Lamar Odom is a king. I'm a big Lamar Odom guy. And send me some just questions about like who's better than who for like high school and college guys. Yes, it's a good action. Odom's skill set was insane, man. It was hard to watch what happened to him during his late career. Yeah, it was. That stuff was hard to watch. You never want to see someone go through that. I think Lamar Odom would have been perfect for today's NBA. I think there's a group of guys that I believe will just be perfect for today's NBA. Lamar Odom's one of them. Jalen Rose is another one. Guys like that. Grant Hill would have been perfect, in my opinion, for today's NBA. Just because guys who can play multiple positions really well. Jalen Rose could legit play point guard. Yeah, he is better than Garuba right now. And then actually, and that's not definitive. I haven't watched enough Garuba to really give an opinion on him. Sup, Jay? Kuminga overrated? No, I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think. I think he's the second best player in that class. I think he's so talented. Who's your favorite point guard? Cade Cunningham. What do you think? Cade Cunningham. Sam, did you think my favorite point guard in this draft? LaMelo. In next year's draft, Cade Cunningham. But LaMelo. LaMelo's my favorite point guard in this class. I think he's so good. Other point guards are like, I'm a big Cole Anthony guy. It's so funny to me that to see his fall. I think it's so unjustified. Just to have him going that low. It's just tough, really, to say that, like, oh yeah, he's going to fall in the lottery just because of a few bad games in college. It was clear to me. Look at the numbers. When Cole Anthony played well, UNC won. When he didn't play well, they lost. They were so dependent on him. I would love to see him go to Detroit or Phoenix. Those are the two teams I would really like to see him go to. But I'm actually going to go get something to drink. I'll be right back. What's up? I am back. Award predictions. Giannis for MVP. Defensive Player of the Year to Giannis as well. Rookie of the Year is Ja. Mike Smith is cool. I like that series that he's doing with the prospects where he's breaking down film with them. I find that very fun. I think I've watched every single one of his series where he talks with one of the prospects about their own tape. I find that stuff so cool. I actually think he's really just good at his job. I haven't watched a lot of Zion Cruz, I'll be honest with you. No, I haven't. But to get back to award predictions, I said Giannis MVP, Giannis Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player, I have Bam. I think I said Rookie of the Year, Ja already. Sixth Man of the Year, I have Dennis Schroeder. Coach of the Year, Nick Nurse. That's my predictions for that. Oh yeah, Smith would make the high school rankings. And I didn't like Paul Bancote. I think when he does when he calls games, I really like the fact that he really doesn't say anything negative about the players because they're kids, and everything that is quote unquote negative, it's just constructive criticism or anything. But I do think Mike Smith should be doing the high school rankings as well. Cade NBA comparison. Luka Light, I would say, more than anything. He's kind of like that kind of player. There really isn't one set comparison for Cade. And if Zay would like to come back anytime if he's done eating, that would be nice. But I'm that. But Zay said he might come back, but we'll see about that. Yeah, Cade, there is no set comparison for him. He's like a Grant Hill kind of player in a way. I've seen some Luka Doncic. I've seen some Ben Simmons. The Ben Simmons one doesn't make sense. Oh, the NBA draft room comps are horrible. I like that's actually a very Shai Gilgeous-Alexander kind of thing to do. Kind of seems like a kind of player that would sign with Converse. Yeah, NBA draft room comps are horrible. Do you think LaMelo CIC as a Jason Kidd kind of player? No, because he has more scoring potential and isn't the defender that Jason Kidd is. And I think comparison wise, he's like D'Angelo Russell with a lot more passing potential, and that's just a lot because D'Angelo Russell is a gifted passer in his own right. But I do feel like LaMelo's that kind of player. He'll score similarly to how D'Angelo does, and doesn't get to the line out like D'Angelo does as well. So I see that kind of play. I know Ken Jackson R&B compared him to what's his name? Penny Hardaway. I kind of see it, kind of don't. Yeah, but to get back to those NBA draft room comps, they're horrible. Who? Sim? Who? Say? I don't know about that one personally. I think they're close. I think it's very much like it's not like Jalen Green's definitively better. But I do feel like Jalen Green does have a slight edge, especially the fact that I know Kentucky has great development systems. You've seen great players come from there, but I do feel like oh yeah, I'll talk about it in a minute. But I just feel like Jalen Green having that G League kind of development is interesting. Sam, I don't talk about Diego that much on Twitter. I only talked about him because someone thought he was better than De'Aaron Fox when he's not. Like my thoughts on D'Angelo Russell are simple. He's a guy who can be an all-star in the right situation. When he's not in the right situation, he's just an empty stats guy. But we saw in Brooklyn, under the right circumstances, he can be an all-star. LaMelo is so dumb. Yeah, he is. He is. He does share a lot of similarities with his brother, I will say that, as far as passing, rebounding. Where they separate is Lonzo is more of a defender, where LaMelo is more of a scorer. No, overtime. Oh, don't trust overtime for reliable sources. They are not that at all. Do you think Manny is a good place for him? It could be. It could be. I think it could be. I think the best fit for him is either Detroit or New York, personally. But I think Minnie could be a good fit. If Minnesota has the third pick and he's still on the board, they better take him. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, but don't trust overtime. They gave Gabe Cubs a series, and I think Gabe Cubs he's better than your average player. I think he has a chance to be a really legit Division I player. I just don't think he's it. I'm not gonna go further because I don't want to talk shit about a kid who's like a freshman. I'm in college. He's a freshman. Let's be real. Who do you think the Pelicans would draft? Who would ideally fit? They're kind of set at everything because they got Lonzo, they got Drew, they have Zion and Ingram. I think you start looking at centers. I'm not that high on Jackson Hayes at all. But I think the best thing for them to do is to draft a developmental guard. And I think the perfect guy for that is OJ Hampton. Because OJ Hampton is a player that I think that you can sit behind Drew Holiday, have Drew mentor him and develop him. And once Drew kind of slows off, OJ Hampton will be ready. Thank you for that. You think Jaylen Brown making the All-Star game next season? I hope he does. I do. I think he is. It would be cool if he was here to talk about this, but I think he could. He might. He might not, depending on how the season goes next year. Depending on who's in the conference, who's leaving, who's staying. I think he's gonna improve his numbers even more to the point where he might be Tatum, Luka long term. I don't know about that. I would take Tatum because I'm a Celtics fan and I do think he has the superstar potential, just like Luka does. But Luka again is the best prospect I've ever seen, so it's just hard for me to say that personally. And Luka's more than limited to have it. So LaMelo's a way better fit the next spacing and finishing key things he didn't have at. I think it could be a good fit with Detroit. I think New York's a fine fit as well. I think he'd be a good fit with OJ because LaMelo Ball can play. Well, I don't want to sound punny. No pun intended. Off ball. OJ Bates rookie season. WL just he had a mid rookie year. There were flashes of really high play. There were also times it was horrible. But I do feel as if there's something to build off of. And that's the most important thing. That there is a foundation to build off of. He was a horrible mid-range shooter this year. Like, the numbers are just... His mid-range numbers were atrocious. But, again, there was stuff to build off of. It's not like there wasn't something to build off of. I like OJ a lot. I think he's going to be a good player for a long time. We were talking about it with Zay earlier, but we were talking about how he's probably going to have a DeMar DeRozan kind of career where he can get you to the second round. Seems like OJ ball dominant and he's a bit weird this season. I don't know if he was quote unquote ball dominant or if it was more the fact that his team was just horrible. Like Julius Randle had the worst tape I've ever seen from a guy who damn near averaged a 20-point double-double. Like, there's no way around that. Randall's horrible. Fang's horrible. Kevin Knox sucks. There's no way around that either. It just wasn't a good situation to be in. I think he would have been more efficient if he ended up in Cleveland where the floor spacing's a bit better. But that could be something to think about in the context of his rookie year. But there also were plenty of signs in his rookie year of the same problems I saw at Duke or the same problems I saw at Kentucky and things like that. But I do think OJ can be something. I do think that he does have that kind of potential when we really think about it. Who's in the stream? Denny would be actually be a really good fit for the Timberwolves. I was actually considering him in my mock draft going top 3. But the idea of LaMelo falling out of the top three was ridiculous to me because I think LaMelo is like the second best player in this draft. But especially in this draft where it's like a lot of but just take the best player available. But I think Denny would be a good fit. Denny would be a good fit anyway because there isn't really one area where his weakness. Let me see my boy Daniel get back to the last season at the Lakers or Pelicans that game. I think that's possible. I think it is. It wasn't. He just needs the tape. There's just nothing. I watched some just watching him play because he's in the same division. It's tough to watch. It truly is. Like it's really hard to watch him play. That's the whole thing. But it should be interesting to see what happens with him going forward because but it just should be. There was just the tape sucks. That's all I'm gonna say. Who has Shai Ja? No, no, no. I love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but he's not better than Ja. Let's be real. Who are the most disappointing rookie year this year? This is tough. A lot of the guys had rookie years that I expected them to have. If I were to say, actually, probably Jared Culver would be the most disappointing rookie this year. I thought he was going to be a lot better than he was, honestly. The free throw numbers are atrocious. Like, that's like a legit concern. I know we didn't take that many free throws. I think it took like just over one free throw a game. But still, it doesn't change the fact that he shot like 40% from the free throw line. I think it's a big concern. But so I would say Jared Culver had the most disappointing rookie year. But other than that, like Zion actually exceeded expectations in the 19 games he played. What's his name? Ja was playing well. OJ, I expected the inefficiency from OJ. I didn't expect Romeo Langford to play. I saw Cam's rookie season coming from a mile away. This guy's and the guys that somewhat surprised me. Guys like Tyler Hero surprised me a bit. Guys like PJ Washington surprised me a bit. Rui Hachimura. Those guys kind of surprised with how good they were early on. But like as far as guys I had expectations for, the only one that really disappointed me was Jared Culver. I think Zion's disappointed me just because we didn't see him play all season. Played good, but disappointed not to see him not play a full season. That's not his fault, though. I think it's disappointing. Yeah, it is disappointing, but we can't call it a disappointing year because of that. Zion deserves to be in the 2021 cover. Yeah, he does. He does. I understand when people are mad about that. I saw somebody say DeAndre Hunter should be on the cover instead of him. Like, no one would buy a DeAndre Hunter 2K game. That's all I'm going to say. I do believe that with Zion, if he played the full year and didn't have his minutes restriction, he probably would have had one of the better rookie seasons of all time. Most people get the game digital anyway. I think it does because there's still enough people that get it. Get like a hard copy. Like I get hard copies. Like I actually I have a 2K15 game right here. Like you can see if you want, but I do. I buy the hard copy still. It's just for me. I think it is like I don't want to lose my stuff personally. You know what I mean? Like it's like I miss like I have a fear I'm gonna like digitally lose something as like having the hard copy. It's also good for collecting stuff. Like it's that cool to hate. It's just cool to hate on Zion. There really isn't anything to hate him about. He's like one of the nicest people in the NBA. Most underrated recruit in a 2020 class. Dalen Terry, he's a small forward shooting guard type. He's going to go play in Arizona. I think he's a first round talent. Great passer, things like that. So that should be fun. So I get back in the Zion thing. I don't think it's cool to hate on Zion because he just seems like a nice guy. But yeah. But the other underrated guys for 2020 besides Dalen Terry, well, watch out for Andre Cabello and Adam Miller, Illinois. I think they could be something. More of a long-term guy for 2020 recruiting class. I don't think he's one done, but over time, I think he can develop into a maybe a late lottery pick. Is RJ Davis? He's going to be at UNC. Really, if I'm gonna anyone else, Musa Cece, John Cole became hate because people just love to hate people. He don't play like Bleacher Report and they love him. I don't mind hating on Bleacher Report. I don't think Bleacher Report's that good. I feel like De'Aaron Fox is a more athletic Mike Conley, which will suck because I think he won't get the attention skill-wise because he'll be a borderline all-star. I think he'll be better than Mike Conley. At this point in their careers, he's a better player than Mike Conley is. I think he's averaging like 20 and 7 already. He'll be much better than that. I don't think he's close to hitting the ceiling. But to get back on the Bleacher Report thing, sorry. I do feel like Bleacher Report does get a lot of hate, and I think a lot of the hate is justified. It's because they do tend to cater to athletes that are popular and memes and things like that. But thoughts on Jay Crawford being signed by Nets? It's okay, I guess. Jamal Crawford, he sucks now. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I don't mean like he's bad at basketball. Like he could walk into a gym and drop 50 on anyone. Not an NBA court, but like walk into like a rec league or even like a pro-am league and drop 50. But like it was clear It was clear for me the moment like his last year with the Clippers, where he wasn't having a positive impact on the court, and when he gets to Minnesota and they're a playoff team and he has a negative impact, and then he gets to Phoenix and he's one of the worst players in the league on one of the worst teams in the league. Saw someone say if Zion doesn't win MVP and Finals MVP, he's a bust. That's ridiculous. Don't listen to that stuff, man. He's not gonna be a bust, in my opinion. It's just hard for me to believe that he'll ever be that kind of guy. But yeah. Anything else? Yeah, that has to be a troll. No one in their right mind would actually think something like that. Or either that or they just don't know basketball. Very well could be. It's Twitter, for God's sake. But leave below, who do you think is a guy who could potentially be an all-star one day, but like isn't on the radar right now? Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is an interesting prospect to me because there are times that he looks like the best prospect in that class, but there are other times where he just falls asleep. That's the reality with him. There are times he looks incredible. There are times where he doesn't, and it's somewhat like I think he's better than James Wiseman as a prospect. I'm like a lot better, but I do feel like he does have that same concern of does he have that consistent motor? I mean, that's how brands work. You got to cater to what makes your users buy Patreon. It's like, regular fans might not like it. Bleacher Report's doing amazing because everyone hates them. Bleacher Report does amazing because they post cringy things that are popular or supposedly popular, and people just hate on it. That's how they get it. Because people retweet them, and including myself, I do it as well. And people retweet them and subtweet them and reply to them, and they get the engagement. That's why they're so popular. Zion is not overrated. Zion is one of the best prospects I've ever seen. Like the only two prospects that Luka's definitely better, but and I think he's on the level as Cade as well. I don't think that Zion's overrated at all. I think he's actually underrated in a way. because people viewed him as this guy who was just a dunker, and he was so much more than a dunker at Duke. So I think he's a little bit underrated. Yeah, only 19 games because of the injury, but when he played in those 19 games, he was one of the most dominant players in the NBA. Like, there's no reason to call him overrated because he only played 19 games. When in those 19 games, he was one of the most dominant forces in basketball. And that's just me saying that. It's statistically backed up, and it's like based off tape. It's backed up. He's everything you want in a superstar player. He isn't ball dominant, but he can be ball dominant if needed. He rebounds well. He has defensive potential. He has potential to be the most dominant player in the league. Like, there's not much to say he's overrated. Like, I understand that he's popular, maybe a bit overhyped, but like, I don't think he's overrated. Jay Hayes with the Pelicans. What's your take on him? I think he's Willie Cauley-Stein. Like, the idea of him will just be a lot better than what he actually is. I think he could be solid for them. But the clock is ticking. Like, they need him to be something. They spent the 8th pick on him. Like, you know, he needs to be something soon. The Pelicans are going to be, if they are this year, they will more than likely, if they all stay healthy. If he stays healthy, if everyone stays healthy on the Pelicans, he'll be a playoff team, and he needs to contribute as a high pick. Every person who doesn't know basketball isn't a true fan. Well, it's automatically for Zion and Curry just because they can shoot or dunk. Yeah, that's okay. You know, we all are. Not everyone is going to be a diehard NBA fan, and if you're not going to be into the idea of these advanced stats or all these things. Taylor Rooks is a queen, by the way. Boy. Yeah, Taylor Rooks is one of the reasons they listen and through the wire. Yeah, they are. Shout out Kenny, shout out Taylor. They're amazing people. But to get back to the Zion point, it's okay to just like someone because of that. Like, not everyone's gonna watch every game. And casual fans, people who don't know, they're just gonna like those things because the game is threes and layups. Do you think there will be high school basketball in New Jersey? It depends. It depends. It does depend on what it is. I'm not gonna get too much into it because I don't know the implications it will have on my channel if I talk about it. But it depends on what this. It basically just depends. What's up, Jelly? How you doing? Through the Wires. Yes, Through the Wire is one of my favorite podcasts. They're up there. The Rusty Mojo Show, Peer to Peer. Those are like my 3 main podcasts. I also listen to the Bootleg podcast with Brett Coleman. He's a great football guy. And that's about it. Zion is the most dominant player. Yeah, he is, but I think Zion is up there as well. Getting into sports at the same time, I was a Kobe fan. I can throw basketball facts over like crazy. Yeah, I think we also like. I started watching basketball. Like I think it was like 11 years old, and like Jeff Green was on the Celtics, and like I just watched the highlights. I would watch him play, and when you watch him play on a good night, me not knowing any better, I thought he was the best player in the league. You grow as a fan. Like I'm not the same player I was when I was 11. Like you grow, you learn things. Like I thought again, guys like Jeff Green were like the best players in the league. But feel free to drop some more stuff below as well. Yeah, but my basketball knowledge has come so long from when I started becoming an NBA fan. It's not even funny. There's really players, nothing wrong watching one of those players and they're popular for a reason. Yeah, there is. Like, people Steph Curry is incredible, and Zion Williamson is incredible as well. So I don't see the problem with like gravitating towards them. Like young kids, I never understood why people would call out these young kids when Steph Curry, like 2016, was like on the rise, and all these young kids love Curry. I'm like, yeah, they're gonna love Curry because he's fun to watch. He's popular, and he's someone they can relate to. Now Zion isn't someone everyone can relate to, but he's still a popular player that's fun to watch. Who's your top 3 most athletic point guards of all time? Russell Westbrook, Derrick Rose, and when he before pre-injury Derrick Rose. So Russell Westbrook pre-injury Derrick Rose. This is a tougher third spot. I'm trying to think because it's like between guys like Steve Francis, Baron Davis. Um, like it's like between guys like that. Kevin Johnson would be up there as well for that third spot. Probably, and this is going to sound controversial. I think this is going to sound controversial, but based on pure athleticism, Dennis Smith Jr. should be up there because he has a 48-inch vertical. He's torn his ACL, and he still has a 48-inch vertical. Like, that's insane to me. He's not good at basketball, but as a pure athlete at the point guard spot, he should be there. Yeah, I do think it's cool that. Yeah, I think it's cool the stuff that Curry was able to do for basketball. And I also think it was cool to see what Zion's doing as a superhero kind of figure. He's also a really nice guy. Rui's a solid player. I actually wanted the Celtics to get him. There's a funny story about him. Like, I was sure he wasn't going to go 9th overall. I thought they were going to take Cam if Cam was still on the board. But Rui was my guy. I wanted Rui Hachimura in the Celtics so bad. He goes 9th to the Wizards. I'm like, okay. We can get P.J. Washington. P.J. Washington goes 12 to the Hornets. I'm like, okay, and then we can get Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero goes 1 pick with Hurley Pack. Right up with Romeo Langford. I'm actually excited to see what he's going to do next year, though. But I think Rui's really good. I think that was a good pick at the time. I think it's a pick that's paid off for them, especially at 9th overall. I think he's going to be a solid 15 to 16, maybe 17 point per game scorer. I do feel bad that he is on the Wizards right now. It's not a good team to be on in that situation. But he needs to deal with injuries as well, but I think he'll be fine. Trust me, Rui was like, I literally, in my mock drafts, would purposely take guys ahead of him just so he fell to the 14th pick. That's how high I am on him. But guys, just feel free to add more questions. Kevin Johnson. Yeah, I would say Kevin Johnson in a discussion. That's what we're talking about. NBA athlete point guards are good, but we're talking about pure athleticism. I think it's Russell Westbrook, Derrick Rose, and Dennis Smith Jr. As far as pure athleticism, I feel like people don't talk about the fact that the Wizards haven't run very well since John Wall. No, people have. Ask the Truth made a wonderful video. You can go check out. His channel link is in my his channel's in my on my channel page. Like, you can go check out his video. Because I think I have him on my suggested channels. You can go check it out. I think they actually it hasn't been as bad as people think. Because I'll go up to the draft history right now. Let's go Wizards draft history. So this past year, so we'll go from John Wall, which is 2010 on. Selvin Mack, who's been a solid backup player in the second round. John Vesley was a bust. They did pick up Thomas Satoransky, but they didn't. He ended up not playing for the team. Bradley Beal was a great pick. Didn't really get anything out of the second round pick that year. Otto Porter Jr. developed into a really solid player. And you look at Jordan Clarkson, not with team, obviously, but he was a solid player. I have a lot of hope for Troy Brown Jr., who was the 15th pick in 2018. I think he'll be a solid guy. And Rui Hachimura, I think, is going to be really good as well. So I don't think it's as bad as you would think. But as far as decision making, yeah, you're probably right, Sam. Kevin Johnson is crazy underrated. Yeah, but he's also a piece of shit human being, so I don't really mess with him like that. I'll acknowledge he's a good player, but I've just heard so many things and read so many things about him that are just disgusting. So I don't have a lot of respect for him in that regard. But who do you guys think the worst drafted team is? I think it's like either Minnesota or I think the worst drafting team is like either Minnesota, Charlotte, or I think it's between those two. I actually never knew that. Yeah, you can look that up on your own time. I mean, there's just some stuff. I don't think it's a Knicks. I don't think it's a Knicks. Or yeah, I don't think it's a Knicks. I think it's between Minnesota and Charlotte, really. No, I wouldn't say the Kings. The Kings have actually made good draft picks, or have made enough good draft picks to be not to consider them. Yeah, I would probably say Charlotte though, but because the Kings they drafted DeMarcus Cousins was a good pick. I personally think Tyreek Evans was a good pick. They just fucked up his development. De'Aaron Fox is going to be an all-star one day. You know, I know they have fuck-up picks. Like Roy Cole-Stein was a fuck-up pick. Ben McLemore was a fuck-up pick. Thomas Robinson wasn't a good pick either. The Jimmy Fredette thing wasn't good, but they have enough. Like even Marvin Bagley. Like I don't like seeing the way people talk about Marvin Bagley the third. Like I know he was drafted ahead of Luka, but he still has all-star potential. Like he still has potential to be a really good player. So I don't think it's as bad of a pick as people think. If they would do it again, would they take Luka? Yeah, but we also can't act like Marvin Bagley wasn't that guy at Duke. I would say it's Charlotte. I think it has to be Charlotte. They really have only made. I don't know. The thing is like, yeah, he doesn't fit well with him. But Luka's a player that you don't try to make fit into a system. You make the system around him. And if they would do it over again, they would take Luka. But at the same time, I do think Marvin Bagley III does have also potential. Blazers don't count for me because the players that they passed on, minus Guru Martin, their careers were derailed by injuries. I think Sam Bowie and Greg Oden would be really good players, all-stars, all-NBA level players if it wasn't for injuries. It's not fair to hold injuries against a player, especially when it was kind of viewed as the right pick at the time. Like, I understand, like, you wouldn't take Michael Jordan when Sam Bowie was this highly regarded center and Scarlett Bryan. Besides Phillips has bad takes. I don't think he's a bad person, though. Scarlett Bryan is a legit bad person. I've made a video about it. I don't know him personally, obviously, but it just comes off as very ignorant. And like I said, it's one thing to be ignorant because you're smart. But at the same time, there's just things that he said about real world issues that have just come off as so bad. Sam Bowie was actually solid his first few years in the league. I don't think people would realize that. The only reason Sam Bowie is regarded as one of the biggest draft busters of all time is literally the fact he was drafted ahead of one of the two best players of all time. That's the only reason. Because if you look at his career, it's not that bad. Because for the first 3 years of his career, he averages 10 and 8. And then has a really good few years in New Jersey as well. He averages around 12.7 points a game, 8.4 rebounds per game, 2 blocks per game. He wasn't a bad player. It was just injuries. Like, what team do you think has the best culture right now? As far as team culture goes, that's tough. probably the Clippers, I would say. As far as fan bases go, who has the best fans? I think all fan bases are toxic, honestly. Yeah, but to get back to the Sam thing. Okay, the Nets had crazy good culture before the whole thing. That team was actually really fun to watch. Who's watching this movie? Yeah, but again, like, I'd be willing to give up that culture for Kyrie and KD as well. So. This is actually going a lot better than I thought it would. That doesn't make sense either, Sam. Doesn't make sense at all. I understand what you're saying. Trust me. It is. I think it is. I think if they don't make that Nets trade with well, not they're the Nets. If they don't make that trade with Boston, they would be in a much better spot because the thing is they rebuilt really well. In my eyes, despite not having their own first round pick and for like 6 to 7 years, and that is something that is impressive to me. Like, I think again, you look at their team, if they don't trade those picks, you're looking at probably like Tatum, Brown, and Colin Sexton. That's a good young crew to build around. Billy King is the anti. Yeah, he is. He is the anti-kinky. That's a funny way to think about it. That he is the anti-hinky. But I do think Hinky's way kind of worked as well. I do think that the process did have its benefits. It did land on Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And I do think that it would have landed a really good point guard in Markelle Fultz if they didn't mess up his shoulder. What's your favorite what if scenario? Oh, that's actually a good question. I think one of my biggest ones, and I've never seen a video made about it, is what if Kobe Bryant went to college? I think that would be interesting because he was viewed as the number one player coming out of high school. I just feel like it would have been so cool to see what Kobe Bryant would have been like in college, and if he plays well in college, which I have no doubts he would, because he's Kobe Bryant. Like where he would have gone in the draft, he would have gone so much higher. He probably would have been a number one pick as well. Nick Smith made a few. Did he? I'll have to see about this. I like Nick Smith stuff, so I'll go check him out as well. Beasley to the Nets, bro. Why they doing weird stuff? Wait, really? I need to look this up. Wait, Sam, is that real? A Beasley to the Nets? Oh wow, that is real. That's crazy. The Nets are really bad right now because they don't have their two best players, but signing Jamal Crawford and what's his name, Michael Beasley, especially when they got guys Isaiah Thomas is still on the market, who I think is better than both of them, is somewhat Michael Beasley. Though to be fair to Michael Beasley, if Michael Beasley gave a fuck, he would be a starter in this league. He would have been a superstar in this league if he actually cared about basketball. No, I don't think Jalen Johnson's a future number 1 pick. Future top 5 pick? Yeah, easily. I don't think he's better than Kuminga even. What's your favorite big three that could have happened but didn't? Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid. I think that big three could have been special. I think the key for them is Russell Westbrook and James Harden playing well in the playoffs. But at the same time, I don't know the case that I will say this. They both have underperformed in the playoffs. I don't think it's as bad as other people do. I think people overblow how bad they are in the playoffs. They underperform, they're inefficient, but it's not like they are giving you production, which I do think the way people talk about their playoff performances, you would think they aren't giving you production. They're giving you volume production. It's just not efficient production. I have Jalen Johnson ranked 5th. I have him ranked behind Cade, Kuminga, Green, and Boston. Someone that subscribed to me with a picture of himself with Damian Lillard. That's cool. So, thank you to Jerison Poe for subscribing to the channel. But I think Jalen Johnson's a good player. I think if he improves as a scorer, his value will be that much higher. But he does a lot of things really well, so I like him a lot. I do think that Jalen Johnson. Yeah, it's interesting. I think he'd be great for with the Bulls. Where do you think IT would fit right now? I don't know necessarily. It's hard to say. I do think there's a spot for him in the NBA, but right now it's really hard to say where that spot is for him. Well, do you guys think the NBA should be coming back? I would like to hear some of your thoughts on that. I don't think it should be coming back just because of the situation going on in Florida, but I would like to hear your thoughts about that as well. Yeah, Crawford is somewhat overrated in my opinion as well. I don't think he's one of the 5 best 6 men of all time. I would take Ricky Puig. I would take Lou Williams, Manu Ginobili, Detlef Schrempf, and Kevin McHale over him as 6 men. But I do think he's 6 all time as a 6 man. Yeah, I think it's a terrible decision as well. I just don't think, in general, it's not a good decision, but especially the area where they're playing the play in the state they're in, I just think it makes the situation a lot worse as well. I made videos about this. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, Derek, as well. Does seem claustrophobic as well. Did you guys see the food that they were given? That stuff looked horrible. So yeah, that as well. I'll see if Zay does want to come back on. He's still on. I'm gonna see if Zay does want to come back on. I genuinely think that the food is apparently only garbage for 2 days. I still a problem. Yeah, that stuff had me heated as well about what Pook and Stephen A was saying about MBE. That stuff wasn't called for, to say the least. I generally think my all camp experiences were better than the NBA bubble. I didn't really go to summer camp, so I wouldn't be able to completely speak on this. But I do think that it's somewhat of a good experience. It would be at least, but I never went to a summer. I went to one summer camp. It was in Colorado, and I hated it. But it probably was better than the NBA bubble. It just isn't a good look from Adam Silver, and Adam Silver will pay for his crimes. The NBA is a high cost company. They don't get to have anything. They be garbage. Yeah, they don't. They don't. You know. Oh, the bubble food looks horrible. It does. There's no doubt about that. It's just I just don't understand it that much. Like I understand that it's going to be bad for maybe 2 days, but it's still the fact that it's bad. Also, where are they getting this food from? That's another question I have as well. But what do you thoughts? What do you guys think about? Something a good question. Speaking was, what experiences and like camps and stuff have you had? This is a thing going off of what Sam said. What are your thoughts about what experiences you've had, whether it be a camp or something like that? That was probably better than the NBA bubble. Like I want to hear stuff like that. Oh, I just got some Brian news. Oh, but I think they have doing stuff like 25. Bon Bon probably ordering Cheesecake Factory as we speak. I think there's Cheesecake Factory in Disney World. So maybe it's possible. I just saw this thing about Brian that was interesting. Um, Rudy, who's I've attributed a lot of my career to, has said Brian really on here today telling experts with PhDs that they're just guessing like everyone else about COVID and sports. Well, oh, I can't believe I said it. I'll repeat the stream. But you see, Brian basically said that experts about health are guessing about this situation, and sports when his whole ethos is his 7 year. So basically, he's saying he's calling everyone else out about it's a weird tweet to read. So you can go. It's one of Zay's like tweets. I liked it as well. But I had a camp out in my neighbor's backyard to take over the bubble. His daughter was pretty hot, but they have Malika Andrews, so it's comparable. How old were you at this? You know, and if you don't feel comfortable, obviously you don't have to answer it. But how old were you at this camp out? And again, you can tell me if you don't feel comfortable answering that as well. I was 11. Oh, it's understandable. Scoutman needs his phone taken. Scoutman does need his phone taken away. We had a camp. We had a camp where they dropped 40 17-year-olds in one of the biggest cities ever and left us for 2 weeks. It was the most smoothly ran camp I've ever been in. Um, that's funny. I wish I could do something like that. My camp experience was I went to Colorado when I was 8. My mom went with me, and we went with a friend of mine and her mom as well. We were like 8, 7, 8 years old. And I was afraid. I didn't know I was afraid of heights at the time. I became very aware about I was afraid of heights at the time, and then I was just very well aware looking down the side of a mountain, um, and I just became freaked out and I passed out. And then we get to the camp where we're staying. It's a heritage camp, so you do a bunch of activities, and I just did not enjoy myself at all the entire time. We so like how it worked was we would be in these lodges. We would go down for breakfast, which was like normal cafeteria food. We go out and do these activities in groups all day based off your age group. And then you would have lunch, which was actually really good because we got Cambodian food. Cambodian food is incredible. Um, and then what happened after that was we would go do some other activities, and then we would have dinner, which is also cafeteria food. Then we tune in for the rest of the night. And the mother of the of my friend, she wouldn't let us watch TV like at all during this entire trip, not even at the end of the night. So there's no TV. I wasn't old enough to have a phone at the time, and I'm stuck on the side of a mountain at a camp I don't want to be. So it wasn't a fun experience at all. Mind you, we all country town kids. Oh, so that must have been fun for you. I didn't grow up in a city, so like the first time I went to the city, it was incredible for me as well. I grew up on an island called Nantucket for 4 years, the first 4 years of my life, and then I moved to Plymouth, Massachusetts, where I currently live. Where yeah, and I going to Boston is fun all the time though. Um, it's really though, but to go back to the bubble, I do think that it is a bit much. I think they're overthinking it, or actually they're overthinking going back and underthinking the risks, which is horrible. I went to a leader camp where the only one selected from my I was the only one selected from my town in school, and it was one of the best times of my life. I bet that stuff is. Um, I never got to like to the stuff like that. I was never a leader. I was always a follower in high school. I just kind of tried to fit in. Just not fit in, but like just kind of go through the motions in high school. But yeah, this I saw really didn't really coming back. That's the main part of this all. And it's actually I think we've gone long enough. This actually went really well, guys. Thank you to everyone who showed up on the stream. Zay showed up for a little bit. Maybe Zay will be back. I would love to have Zay back on another time. I would love to have him back for longer. I he couldn't be here the whole time. He had to eat and do stuff. Um, but yeah, I do think that he will be back for that. And thank you all for watching. I will definitely be doing this again. I do plan on making this a weekly thing. Like I truly do think I can do this at least once a week, probably on a Wednesday night, honestly. So probably on every yeah. Today is Wednesday, my dudes. And yeah, so I do plan on doing this every Wednesday. And so subscribe if you're new. I would love having just doing this with Zay all the time. So, and maybe it'll be just me sometimes. Maybe it won't be. I'll be with him. Maybe I'll get other guests. But it's getting late. It's 11 o'clock right now. I kind of just want to watch Scooby Doo and go to bed. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.